A sequel is already planned for the near future, following the successful release of Inside Out 2. And since Riley's story is far from over, have you ever considered what other emotions might surface in Inside Out 3 in the future?
Fear, I don't think you can handle this.
In the sequel to 2015's Inside Out, which takes place almost 10 years later, Riley's development continues and she starts to experience new emotions. As Riley approaches high school and social issues intensify, her inner turmoil intensifies, and Inside Out 2's new emotions, anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and ennui, begin to surface. Inside Out 2's conclusion, like that of its predecessor, both definitely close that section of the narrative and open the door for more to come. Another film could go in a million different ways, and man already has ideas about where Riley might end up in the follow-up. New emotions could be introduced in Inside Out 3, which is totally feasible because of a crucial aspect of Inside Out 2. Riley's emotional count rises to 10 in Inside Out 2 when the new emotion of nostalgia is introduced. Every time nostalgia tries to introduce herself, though, the other feelings quickly force her back into the room she originally entered. Though the two scenes in nostalgia are straightforward and humorous, they hint at something much more significant. Riley has several more emotions that are just waiting for the right opportunity to surface. There might be more emotions just waiting to surface if nostalgia is holed up in a back room somewhere waiting for the perfect opportunity to surface. Inside Out 3's story will undoubtedly give Riley's mind more emotions if Disney Pixar decides to make it. Considering Riley is just starting puberty and still has a lot of self-discovery ahead of her, it also is the right course of action. Moreover, the Inside Out film series has demonstrated that pre-existing emotions remain and evolve over time. An emotion can stand in for a specific feeling, but it does not guarantee that the person will behave or feel that way all the time. The main emotions, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, are introduced in Inside Out. Riley's emotional range is further expanded in Inside Out 2 with the addition of embarrassment, anxiety, envy, and ennui. The more recent emotions relate to the primary five, even though they are distinct entities. For instance, fear is a source of anxiety, and depending on the circumstance, shame can be related to both sadness and anger. Consequently, Inside Out 3 auto-include additional emotions that are related to the primary five. Grief is a vital emotion that Riley has not felt aside from nostalgia. Grief and sadness are related, but sadness is a universal feeling that can be caused by a variety of factors. A particular kind of sadness that deals with a catastrophic loss is called grief. Riley's brain is led by joy, but she isn't the source of any of the emotions that have been introduced thus far. Riley got wonderful news on the phone at the end of Inside Out 2, as we saw, which was she got accepted into the hockey team and would be attending the new school. Pixar is known for making brief time jumps between each of their films, so we assume that our protagonist will age from 13 to 15 in the following movie. Everybody goes through a new transition at this time in life. Riley started puberty at this age and is still going through it. At 15, she will reach the mature stage. Riley will be going through all of this at her new school. In addition, at this age, your heart begins to beat faster when your crush walks by. With that in mind, an emotion that Inside Out 3 can use as a main storyline is love. Although every emotion in this franchise represents a different kind of love, Riley hasn't encountered romance, which could be considered a separate emotion. Riley's First Date, a short film that was released following the original film, gave us a preview of what Riley's dating life might entail. Even so, it would be intriguing to watch the emotions surface and cause some mayhem once she begins to genuinely fall in love. Given the variety of love, it would be intriguing to observe whether love is a single emotion or if it takes on the form of a range of emotions. Surprise is another feeling we should be prepared for. Surprise is a feeling that drives everyone's strong emotions when they learn something unexpected or just plain unknown. It is most likely present in the control center following the film's final scene when Riley gets the news about the hockey team, which makes her very happy. Riley looked happy about the news she had been waiting for a long time, and judging by the girl's expression, the news was very good. At that point, we can see that Riley was pleasantly surprised, as we feel surprised when we encountered an unforeseen circumstance or don't want to hear what we would like to, the surprise would also be present in less happy times. Stated differently, surprise is an emotion that gets along just as well with both joy and sadness because it can work together with both of these established feelings. The emotion of surprise would be in charge of evoking rapid bodily reactions in response to the received information. And to help with this, the control panel would undoubtedly include buttons that would cause mouths to open and eyes to widen. Witnessing this feeling will undoubtedly be amazing. We know that Riley's admission into the hockey team, which is exciting news that is still pending but is undoubtedly confirmed, makes people happy. But it's also crucial to remember that this can have at least one negative effect: pride, which is something that should be handled by an emotion with the sole focus on this. Actually, Pixar developed this character specifically to show up in the first Inside Out film as one of the dozens of emotions that Riley's mind was home to, and she would joyfully interact with the other residents of the girls' control center. But what connection does Riley's decision to join the hockey team have to pride, you ask? It is a well-known fact that Riley, the lead character in the film, excels in her preferred sport. However, Riley's perception of her abilities is inflated by the repeated affirmations of her teammates about her skill. She would be a proud person, so pride would be my first choice if I had to pick one potential villain from the range of fresh feelings that might surface. Riley would find herself in a situation where she might lose her friends, like Val and the other girls on the hockey team, and find herself alone once more since proud people lose empathy and occasionally even the other people around them. Though it might sound a little repetitive, this could be a really good script if Pixar does a good job with it. The truth is that pride isn't always a negative thing. In fact, pride may be what motivates us to value our friends and parents because we feel proud of them. It's certainly exciting that this new emotion can be explored during Inside Out 3. Hope is another emotion that we strongly believe will show up in the upcoming Inside Out film, particularly considering that it is one of the feelings that Riley's mind originally developed and intended to include in the first film but ultimately left out. Given that it entails the expectation that something good will occur in the future, hope is undoubtedly one of the most significant emotions in a person's life. Hope's appearance in the Inside Out franchise is essentially inevitable since it would serve as a counterbalance to anxiety, which deals with making plans for the future but constantly concentrating on the worst-case scenarios. As previously mentioned, Riley would experience a newfound sense of optimism and confidence that she so desperately needs to advance both personally and professionally in her chosen field. This new emotion would therefore constantly center in the positive things that could occur. It would essentially serve as the character's inspiration to never give up on our goals and to even lend a helping hand to others who might be facing difficulties or hardships. Since hope is a contagious emotion, Riley would become a better friend and be able to encourage Val and other close ones to feel the same way. Furthermore, we believe that hope will always be pulsing within Riley's desire to reunite with her friends, both new and old, from her time in Minnesota. Think about how awesome it would be if Riley's first friends from the first film came to see her in the third installment in San Francisco. I would definitely love to see that story. Unfortunately, there is no current information on whether Inside Out 3 will actually happen, even though it is unquestionably a strong pitch. But as Polar pointed out, there are a ton of possibilities for Riley-centric spin-offs, so fans shouldn't give up. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.